Hey guys, in this video we will be looking at HubFit's metric system. So I'm going to be showing you both the coach side of things, so how you can get things set up and how you can view metrics, but I'm also going to be showing you the client side of things, so how clients can use the metric system from within the client app. I'm also going to be showing you how you can integrate metrics within the check-in system, which is a very powerful feature within HubFit to make it very seamless for yourself and for your clients. So let's jump straight into it. The first thing you'll see here is this metric in your library. So what this allows you to do is build out your own library of metrics, and this just makes it easier for when you're adding metrics to your client, when you're adding them to your check-ins, or if you're building an onboarding flow and you want to automate the metrics that get set up for your clients. So to add a metric, you'll see you have this add metric button here, and if I click in this, you can insert a metric name and a metric unit. There's also a HubFit library over here, which just comes pre-filled with some metrics that you can use out the box. So for example, let's say we just want to add in body fat into our library. I'll just click on that and I'll click on add metric. And just like so, we've built out our own metric library. So now let me show you how you can use this with your clients. So I'm going to head over to my clients over here. I'm just going to click on this Arnold client. And you'll see here there is a metric section. So this is where all the metrics data live. You also get a quick overview in the dashboard of the client for the metrics and if they're going up or down. But let's go ahead and click on the metrics section. So here you'll see all the metrics related to your client. And I'll just give you a quick overview of everything since there's a lot going on. Over here is the list of all the metrics that your clients have. Now what you'll see here is you also have metrics for things that the clients have integrated. So for example, they have integrations with Fitbit and they also have integrations with Apple Health. So they appear in the metrics section as well. So to add a metric, you can click on new metric, which we will get to, but I want to mainly jump into the graph itself and the data. So here you'll see you have the graph for a metric and you can filter. By default it filters for the last 2 weeks, but you can go further. So if you want to maybe go for the last 4 weeks or the last 2 months, you can do so. You'll see here you have the percentage of increase or decrease based on what you have set. So for the last 2 months, they went down by 24%. And you'll see the average for the last 2 months. So if I just change this back to 2 weeks, you'll see now for the last 2 weeks they went down by 3% and the average was 66 kg. Over here, if you scroll down, you can view the entries individually for each entry. So for example, the 1st of September, the 29th of August. You can also edit the metrics for your client. So if maybe they put incorrect data or something, you can just click on edit and you can edit this metric for them. If you want to edit the metric itself, so like the name or the unit, you can do that by clicking on that edit option over here. And if you want to add a metric, if your client forgets to add a metric and you want to do it for them, you can click on log metric. So that would look like this, and then you can add the metric in for your client. There's the integrations over here. So obviously you can't edit these since these are pulled in straight from the wearables itself, but you can view the data that the wearable syncs with HubFit. You also have this overview option. So if I click on overview, you'll see we're able to view for each metric. We can see a weekly overview. So from Monday to Sunday, and then we can also see the average for each metric. And to add a metric, I can click on new metric and I can either enter a metric from scratch or I can just use my own library. So if you want to add multiple metrics, you can just do so. So let's say we want to add all of these and I'll do add metric. And you'll see here we've just added these 2 new metric. So that's how it looks like when you're viewing your client's metrics from a coach point of view. But now let me show you how the client can actually use all this from within the app. So let me switch over to the app. So over here I have the app open. Now I'm logged in as that client that we just added a metric to. And over here you'll see we have the profile tab. That's where we want to go. And here you'll see we have the metric section. So the metric section for the client allows them to view or edit their metrics. So you'll see here there's a button. This allows them to switch between their metrics. So for example, we have 4 metrics that we've assigned to this client. If they click on this history, they can view a full history for the current metric being viewed, which is the weight metric. They can modify previous metrics if they need to change something. If they want to add a new metric, they can click on this plus icon, and then they can go ahead and add a metric. So let's say we want to add a new metric, 70 kg, and I'll just do add. And that's now added to the client's metric. Now, the first thing you'll probably notice is this might be tedious if they're inputting it for every metric all the time, and if you have multiple metrics assigned to this client. So for example, we have 4 metrics. This is where the check-in system comes in. And now let me show you how you can integrate metrics within your check-in system. So now I'm back on the coach side of things, and I'm just going to head over to forms and to check-ins. And I just want to show you how you can add a metric type question to your check-in. And what this will do is it will allow you to synchronize metric from within the check-ins to your client's metric system, which I will show you now. But before we do so, let me, for example, click on this check-in. You'll see this add question button, and if I click on this, you'll see a question type called metric. Now, this is a special question type that allows you to synchronize data entered from within the check-in to the client's metric system. So if you click on this, you'll see you can add a question. So maybe say, well, first let me select a metric from our library. So let's say we want to add muscle mass. Then I could say muscle mass and maybe say this morning. So, and then you can add that to your check-in, and it's a special type of question that synchronizes. And I'm going to show you how that looks, but let's head over to the client app again to show you how the client can fill this in from the check-ins. So now I'm back in the client app, and here you'll see there is a daily check-in. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this to fill it in. And if I scroll to the bottom, I'll just add something here since this question is required. If I scroll to the bottom, I've added 2 metric type questions. So morning weight and body fat mass. So I'm just going to enter 100 and maybe 200 here, just so we can see them in the metric and know which ones came from the check-ins. And I'm going to go ahead and click submit. So now we've just filled in a check-in, and using that metric type question, we're able to synchronize it. So just from a client point, if I just go here, you'll see straight away that the metric that we just entered from our check-ins appears here. So it synchronizes straight away for the client. But I want to show you how it looks like from the coach point. So let me head back to the coach side of things. So now I'm back to the client that just filled in the check-ins. And if I go ahead and click on their check-ins over here, I'll see the check-in that they just filled in. Now here are the 2 metric questions that they entered. And you'll see we did enter 100 and we did enter 200. Now you'll see this synced tag here. This will let you know if the metric was synced with their metrics. But what's really cool is you can view the graph straight from within the check-in itself. So if I go ahead and click on this here, I can view the data straight from within the check-ins. So if you're recording a Loom video and reviewing the client's check-ins, you don't have to jump between their metrics to view the history. You can just click on this and see their exact metric history for the past 14 days. And also if I just go back to metrics over here, you'll see they entered 100 in the check-ins, but it also appears in their metric system. So that's everything for the check-in system. Very powerful and very convenient when it comes to setting up check-ins and building out your library. If you have any questions or anything, please leave them in the comments below.